Good morning, everybody. Sorry I'm late. I've been farting around with a plugin. God, I feel so old. Fucking technology. Anyway, as technology brings me to your room and your computer this fine day, catch me every Thursday, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and my blog every Monday on globalwealthprotection.com. All right, violence part two. I'm going to see if I can maybe squeeze in a few extra minutes at the end because I got a lot to cover. And the reason why I'm doing a part two, it wasn't actually planned. It wasn't until after I did the episode last week that I started to get into some conversations with people. And I came across a blog from Matt Walsh. And well, sometimes he's got something to say that's worth reading and listening to. There's this one on the spanking was so bad and so demonstrative of how people have become complacent towards several acts of violence. Um, I might repeat myself a little bit in this episode, just so you know, but and basically I'm building off of last week. But the fact that people kind of dismiss the idea of spanking, and look, I'm sure there are plenty of other anarcho-psychologists and liberty-minded shrinks out there and child development professionals who could expound on this further. And I'm merely making some observations. In 30 minutes, I'm not going to break down the entire society and rebuild it, but I am going to address a few points that I see, mainly to bring to your attention and maybe to bring to the attention of others. Right now, we suffer as a society a spanking culture. And by that, I don't mean that everybody spanks. And by that, I don't even mean that everybody condones it or practices it or defends it. Um, there are a lot of people who will consider themselves, for example, and this is a good example, people will consider themselves to be pro-choice, but personally anti-abortion, right? So there's that whole, well, I personally would never do it. I think it's wrong. But who am I to tell other people what to do, right? And I'm not, anytime I oppose something, my next step is not to go out and get a piece of legislation and write my freaking congressman. The point is not to force people to do anything. That's the point of this discussion in the first place, is that force doesn't work. I can have a strongly held conviction that something is wrong, and if I can't make a moral, logical, rational case for it, then I either need to find another approach, do some more research, or let it go. Right? But with the case of spanking is very closely tied to our police culture. And of course, my feed is just cluttered with one police brutality story after another. Another person dies because they were jaywalking, they were in a abandoned house playing. Oh my gosh, when I was a kid playing in an abandoned house or any sort of abandoned property, that's what kids did when they weren't taking their bikes out to get there. But nonetheless, that's become a capital crime now, according to our police behaviorists and the lovely people patrolling our streets. So there's a serious cycle of violence. And some of the quotes coming out of these police departments indicate that they rely on a spanking culture. They rely on a spanking culture and a spanking cycle to be there for them, to ready people, to ready the American public. You need to have some sort of physical disciplinary tactics, because if you don't, they're not going to be prepared for the cops. And that's a fact. That's a fact. There's direct causation. It's not even, it's almost sad. The people who tend to get their jimmies rustled over police brutality know that physical discipline is wrong on an adult level. They just haven't quite swallowed that pill for children. Okay? But understand this. When you go out into public and let's say you're driving around without a seatbelt in a state other than New Hampshire, where it doesn't matter, right? Are you not wearing your seatbelt to be defiant because you know deep down morally you should be wearing your seatbelt? Or do you not wear your seatbelt because you really couldn't give a shit either way about the morality of wearing a seatbelt? I'll tell you now. I wear a seatbelt not because I think it's moral or because it's the right thing to do. I wear a seatbelt because God forbid some asshole in a town like mine sees me without a seatbelt. He had nothing better to do. I'm out $275 for that act of defiance. Okay? I got pulled over for not having current stickers on my plate. I got pulled over for having a frame around my license plate at one point. Okay? So when cops have nothing better to do, they're looking to extort you. And to the tune of several $100s. Okay? So am I getting my smog checks and wearing my seatbelt and coming to a complete stop at empty intersections because I think it's the moral thing to do, the right thing to do? No. I do all those things because if I don't, there's somebody, the state has already listed out some protocols on what they will do to me if I don't comply. A man with a gun will pull me over. I am required to stop. If I don't stop, what happens? There's a list of protocols, violent protocols in place to deal with me. I do stop. He says, well, you're wrong. Now, I might be able to bat my eyelashes and get out of it. I might have to sit there and suck it up and take a ticket. If I get a ticket, now I owe the city or the county or the state a certain amount of money. If I don't pay it, what happens? If I don't show up to court, what happens? There is always a protocol in place for if you don't do what we say, X will happen to you. I will do this to you. Okay? It's not a natural consequence. It's a contrived one from the state. Okay? So then you say, well, and begrudgingly people will accept it. Right? Begrudgingly people will accept it. Well, he got me. I mean, it's petty, right? It's so petty that he would write me for that. But yeah, he's right. I was going this fast, and yeah, I had a broken tail. Yeah, I had a license plate thing. They acknowledged that they did the thing, and they got the ticket. And so department commanding officers and sheriffs and whatnot and mouthpieces will say, if you don't want to get a ticket, follow the law, and you won't get one. Just do what we say, and nothing will happen to you. But you keep doing stupid shit like this, my job is to enforce the law. So I'm gonna do it. Right? Poor, hapless little soldier can't think for himself, I mean, God forbid a cop would take matters into his own hands and say, you know what? I acknowledge that you haven't registered your car, and I really just don't give a shit. Have you hurt anybody? No? Alright. I mean, you could have that. He won't have a job for long, but ostensibly you could have somebody who thinks for himself, right? And that's what would happen. You'd have guys not enforcing half the petty shit that generates revenue. But nonetheless, so people get tickets. And the same reason why I continue to renew my registration and do all this stupid shit, because I just want to be left alone and I really want to keep my money. So so when you go to somebody in a city building and ask them, why am I registering my car? Why do I got to do this every fucking year? Why do I got to get a new license? So you don't go to jail. You don't get fined. So you don't get a ticket. Oh, so I don't get punished. That's why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it because it's right, because there's any sort of moral backing to these laws anymore. It's just because I don't want to go to jail. I'm buying my freedom, right? I'm just trying not to get spanked, essentially. Awesome. Awesome. So then the people who do get tickets, while they begrudgingly take it, secretly sit there, and if you listen to them long enough, I'm not saying everybody, but the statists absolutely. The statists absolutely. When they get the ticket, prod them long enough, and it won't take long. Prod them long enough. Yeah, I deserved it. I shouldn't have done that. Mm-hmm. Now talk to somebody who's been spanked. Yeah, hitting kids is wrong and abuse is totally wrong. But when I was a kid, I got spanked. Yeah, I fucking deserved it. You did? Who told you that? Fucking Stockholm-ass parents? They told you? Your parents would never lie. It's not like they told you Santa Claus existed or anything, right? I mean, shit. And you go and tell them, dude, no, you didn't deserve it. Which, I mean, when you say you deserved it, when you rationalize to a child you deserved it, what you're doing is conditioning them for later to say, yes, when an authority figure threatens me with violence and tries to extort me for something later in life, I will have deserved it. The way I deserved every physical punishment in my life from every authority figure, right? Every person in a position of authority, I deserve it. You're breaking the horse first, right? Got to break the horse first. So then, as children, one of two things will happen. I'll never do it again. Not because it's good or bad. Not because it's good or bad, but because I want to avoid that physical punishment. Or I'll get better at it, and I'll still avoid the physical punishment. Because I still haven't learned right from wrong. Violence hasn't taught anybody right from wrong. Our wars have demonstrated that. Our laws demonstrate that. And our penal codes especially. And spanking is no fucking different. That's the problem. I mean, okay, we'll put aside the fact that it's assault. Okay, because of course it's a child, and what's funny is that a child has the right to life, and you know, by a lot of these conservatives, a child has a right to life, but not a right to be secure in their own person. The fuck? I can't even make the argument for people who are sitting here advocating a pro-life position and then telling, and you know, after going through a staunch list of reasons why a child has a right to life, and then turning around and smacking the shit out of them so that they'll be better people. No one's better off for that. Don't with that. Don't with that. You know who's going to agree with you? The poor kid you beat into submission. That kid's going to agree with you. Ask him. You deserved it, didn't you? Yeah, Dad. Oh, fuck. So then I have parents telling me, well, it depends on the kid. Some kids don't respond to that. Oh, really? Some kids don't respond to that? Interesting. But other kids do. Other kids apparently, they can't be reasoned with. They weren't born with reason. They're just apes. They're not even apes. They're like before that. Whatever the step before that was. The one without the reason. Right? They were just born stupid. My kid's too stupid to be reasoned with, is what you're saying. Oh no, you're not saying your kid's stupid? Are you stupid then because you can't reason? Which one is it? Someone can't reason in this equation. Well, the child's too young. Oh. Or you're just not creative enough to use your words. Yes? Because when kids throw tantrums and get violent, we say, use your words. Don't whine. Don't scream. Use your words. Oh, okay. Well, parent, when you get frustrated with a child, use your fucking words. Here's a profound notion. Practice what you fucking preach. How about that? No? All right. Depends on the kid. No, it doesn't. Don't victim blame. Not with me. No. No victim blaming here. I mean, I'm not trying to get all Antonio Bueller, and I'm not trying to get all Steph Molyneux here, but that's victim blaming. Straight up. Saying that it's because of the type of kid your child turned out to be at 3 or 4. Yeah. It's because of the type of kid they are. That's why. No, 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 no. It's the type of parent you are. When violence is on the table for you, then that's the type of parent you are. It's a reflection of you. You're the one perpetrating the violence. It's a reflection of you. Own it. Own that shit. I mean, Jesus, if you're so fucking proud to be a child abuser, then just say so. Well, you know, I just think that, you know, you can do it out of love. You can? You can strike someone out of love? Wow. How much do you love your spouse? Just wonder. How much do you love your mom? How much do you love your siblings? How much do you love your friends? Do you love them enough to spank them and let them know right from wrong and save them from becoming brats later? Change their course for them? Oh no, you don't love them that much. I can assure you that if any of my friends lifted a hand to me, that'd be the end of that shit. But they also know it. They also don't see a point in hitting me. No matter how recalcitrant I am, no matter how defiant I am, and no matter how much I disagree with them, and no matter how much of a stink I put up, I can't get struck by an adult. No matter how unreasonable you think I am as an adult, you can't strike me. So even if you can't reason with me, what's your option? Walk away. Goddamn right. That's right. You walk away. Sad. Sad that we would do this. And the cycle of violence is totally obvious. And when you go out on the street, you've been struck as a child. Well, congratulations. Then you deserve the ticket. That's what's in your head. Can't get it out until you consciously make an effort to say, I didn't deserve that shit. No one deserves to get extorted. Or you're just bitter because you got busted. That's the next line. That's the next line of reasoning you get from these fucking pro-spankies. For reals, look at all the freaking justification of violence. Well, that's different. Bullshit. Bullshit. It's the same equation. It's the same equation. That the level of violence gets escalated far more quickly with a police officer than perhaps a parent is only because deep down the parent actually gives a shit about their target. But even then, that a parent would allow anything to escalate to the level of violence, to a level of violence, any level of violence, means they don't have control over their shit. This is the exact same argument I make about police brutality. I am equal opportunity right across the board. When you use violence and it's your job to diffuse a situation and instead you take it to the next fucking level to flex your nuts to your target, you lost control. You fucked up. You fucked up. The end. The end. There's no way a 3-year-old deserves to get struck. There's no way. I mean, especially when you have special needs children out there who are getting struck. I'm sorry, if you don't have the ability to calm yourself down and be the voice of reason, I will grant you that the 3-year-old perhaps does not have the cognitive ability yet or the critical thinking skills yet to totally reason through everything. It is your job to teach right from wrong, not to fear pissing you off. Fear pissing you off means that they know one thing. It's wrong to cross my parents. I don't know about the lying part. I know that if I lie in front of my dad, it pisses him off. But I don't know that lying is wrong. I know that lying to my dad is wrong. I know that getting caught is wrong. But I haven't yet made that connection that lying itself is wrong. Apparently, we all weren't kids. What, you were born a grown-ass man? You were born a grown-ass woman? You just born an adult, were you? Or the only fond memories you have of being a child is that, well, my parents loved me so much they beat their love into me. They smacked it into me. And I deserved it. I deserved it. Man, that's some sad shit. That's some sad shit. No, since I know for a fact I have never initiated violence on anyone, any act of violence perpetrated on me was undeserved. The end. I can safely say that. Yes, I'm secure in my person, and I know I'm a mouthy little bitch, but at the end of the day, I have never, ever initiated violence against anybody, therefore I am not deserving of any violence. The end. And as a child, if I were to have initiated violence, even then, while I might deserve it from my peer, if I'm a kid and I go to another kid and strike that child and that child strikes back, I would have deserved that. But what I don't deserve is my parents intervening and then saying, no, now I'm going to have a piece of your ass. I'm going to solve this shit with violence. Yes, because historically, we've always solved things with violence, right? I mean, what, every single revolution has, every violent revolution has led to another despot, including America's. Don't even think you're exempt from this shit. Every war has led to another war. Every rebellion has bred the new enemy of the future. And then at some point you get to a place where society gets so fed up that now there are discussions saying, I have a right to defend myself against a cop. Well, good morning. Waking up. Stretch. Yes, good morning. You've just woken up. That's right. You got your ass kicked by a cop, or the cop is threatening to kick your ass, and you're supposed to what? Lie down and take it? I'm sorry, is there not enough video footage of people who have been complicit and the cop's still screaming? Quit resisting, quit resisting. I don't think it's a matter of one-on-one violence because it's never going to work. You're outnumbered and you're outgunned. So practically speaking, there are plenty of people who have good reason to just walk away from that and not engage in a fight. Cops are only too eager to remind you that you're unarmed. And if you are armed, then they'll shoot you first. The issue is that we don't have enough people willing to outnumber the cops every fucking time. It's not just at a protest. It's not just at a protest where everybody synchronizes their watches and shows up. It's that each time we see somebody being oppressed by a bully like that, that the numbers should be descending down on these cops. That no matter how many people you call for backup, your ratio is 1 to 1,000, or 1 to 500, or 1.5 to 1,000. So you will always be outnumbered. You can't shoot us all. You can't imprison us all. So you need to back the fuck off. But people need to stop waiting to vote on shit. They need to stop waiting for criminals to investigate themselves. And witness. Bear witness then and there. Video recording is one thing. Fucking, if there's enough of you, intervene. You got 2 cops. I mean, I'm watching video footage of 2 cops telling 10 people to back off. And they're doing it. Knowing full well they're saying, no, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. So you know it's wrong. Which is telling. Which is the spanking mentality all over again. I know something's wrong, but I'm not going to do anything about it because I'm afraid of the physical consequences that I will, of course, deserve for interfering with an investigation, resisting arrest, whatever the fucking flowery term is. I'm right, though. I mean, I had a piece of Matt Walsh's ass on all 7 points of how fallacious his justifications were. And so I say, same thing. Be cognizant of the cycle. Justifying violence in your mind for anyone, anywhere, justifies it on you. You need to know that. You want to call that freaking logical karma? Fine. It'll bite you back in the ass because whatever you're saying is okay to do to a kid, understand it's being done to you now. And you're bitching about it, chances are, on Facebook. And yes, it's the same. And no, you cannot violate somebody's safety, and you cannot betray their sense of safety, and you cannot perpetrate violence on somebody out of love. You don't get to violate people's rights out of love. There is no violation of my rights out of love. I can't think of one case where I would actually believe that somebody was violating my rights out of love. Because that same argument outside of the household is called the greater good, public safety. I'm doing this for public safety, so it's your ass that's going down. For public safety. It's for the greater good. Is it okay that I violate your rights, calling it those happy, fluffy, warm, and fuzzy pieces of shit? No? Then it's not okay to say you spank out of love. Jesus. What are you, a politician in your own home? You're running for the office of mom and dad? But they only got one choice, so it's more rigged in the household than it is outside? It's pathetic. It's really pathetic to hear the arguments. And they plead. They literally plead to tell them it's okay. And then when you won't give them that satisfaction, then you must think you're better than me. I guess. I shouldn't be. I'm about as average as they come. I shouldn't be better than you. But if I am, that says something. Then fix your shit. You shouldn't be below average. If I'm the bar for what's better than you, then that's some sad shit. I shouldn't be better than you. Tell you the same thing I tell to my kids. I shouldn't be better than you. I'm not worth more. I don't have more rights. I'm not more valuable than you. I'm not more important than you. I'm not better than you. I tell my kids that. I'll tell you that. I'm not better than you. But if the worst thing that's happened to you and the most corrective thing and the most disciplinary thing that's ever happened to you in the past couple of years as a parent has been somebody else calling you out on Facebook, then count yourself lucky that I didn't reach through the fucking screen and slap you the way you handle your shit. You're welcome. I mean, I find spankies to be totally freaking unreasonable. But I'm not spanking them. But I'm absolutely willing to draw the freaking hard line and have the conversation. For as long as I don't get blocked. Anyway, recognize the cycles. Just watch and listen to people. And do them a favor and correct them. Please. For their own sake. If nothing else, to plant the seed and let them know, no, you did not deserve it. And no, you don't deserve to have your rights violated. You don't deserve to be extorted. You don't deserve to be spanked. You don't deserve to be killed. You don't deserve to go be kidnapped and put in a cage. You don't deserve any of that. You deserve to be free, and you deserve to be secure in your person. Thank you. I'm sorry I ran over, and have a good week. Talk to you next time. Bye.